Students, in the last few classes, we have seen the insect pests which are infesting rice, and from today, we see those insects which attack the other cereals such as wheat, maize, ragi, and sorghum. We will see the major pests and their management, and we will see the second most important cereal crop of our country, that is wheat. Coming to the pests of wheat, if we see the list of pests damaging wheat, it is extremely low compared to other major crops grown in our country. See, if you remember the list of pests damaging rice, it was a huge list, and the list which I have taught to you is extremely curtailed. I have removed so many minor pests which sometimes become a problem at some occasions, sporadic pests. I have removed a lot of sporadic pests. I have removed lot of pests which attack rice in other parts of the country. I have mainly concentrated on Kerala situation for rice. But in case of wheat, we don't see such a large number of insect pests damaging the crop. The number of pests damaging wheat is extremely low, and we will go through those pests quickly so that you can have an understanding of what are all the pests infesting wheat. The first one is aphids. We have Microcyphum miscanthus, Itobium avinae, Ruffalocyphum maedis, Surface graminum, and Mysus persicae, all different species of aphids belonging to the family Aphididae damage wheat. The next one is the climbing cutworm or armyworm. We have studied about the armyworm in rice. Here, the species, the genus is different. In rice, it was Podoptera mauritius. Here, it is Mithymna separata, but the family is the same, Noctuidae. The next one is the gram pot borer, one of the most destructive pests of our country. It infests a large number of crops. It's a polyphagous pest, that is Helicohopa armigera, again belonging to the family Noctuidae. Then we have a pest called as Gujia weevil, that is Tanimicus indicus. It is a weevil. It is belongs to a family Curculionidae. So this Gujia weevil damages the crop at the early stages, in the seedling stage. It's specific to wheat. The next one is termites. Odontotermus obese and Microtermus obese. This is a which this pest can be considered as the most serious pest of wheat. The next one is shoot fly. We will discuss about shoot fly several times in today's class. In most of the other cereals other than rice, shoot fly is a major pest. The genus is always in almost all the crops. It is Atrigona. The species that damage wheat is Atrigona naqui, belonging to the family Musidae, that is the family of houseflies. The last one is wheat thrips, Anaphothrips sudanensis. So this is the list of the pests. We will go to in detail to all these pests individually. The first one is wheat aphid, that is Microcyphum miscanthi. See the host range of this aphid pest. It is damages crops such as wheat, barley, oats, etc. If you see this, all these crops, wheat, barley, and oats, all these are rabi cereals, and these aphids damage the crop when the weather is cold and cloudy. So it won't be damaging any crops when the temperature is extremely high in North India. It damages the crop when the temperature is low. So this is a pest of almost all the cereals which are planted during Rabi, that is wheat, barley, and oats. And if you see the damage, it is common to all the aphids or sucking pests. Nymphs and adults suck sap from the plant, and the aphids of wheat prefer to suck sap from the ears. That's one typical feature. And as I told you, it's a pest which becomes severe when the weather is cold and it is cloudy in nature. Another feature that favors the multiplication of this pest is heavy manuring. If the farmer goes for irrigation, this manuring along with irrigation makes the crop succulent and makes the crop susceptible for aphid infestation. As we studied with all the sucking pests, it excrete honeydew, and this honeydew secretion, once it falls over the leaf surface, sooty mold growth will be there. So these are the symptoms and damage of wheat aphid. That means nymphs and adults sucks up. That is the nature of damage. It sucks up mainly from the ears. It's severe, especially during cold and cloudy weather. If the field is heavily irrigated and manured, then the chance of wheat aphid infestation is extremely high, and because of honeydew excretion, we will see sooty mold. So in this picture, you can see the aphids congregating on the wheat plant. So this is a picture of aphids congregating in the leaf sheath. And coming to the management, we can go for planting on the border of the field with tall crops such as maize, sorghum, and millets. The purpose is to provide a fencing to the main crop, that is wheat. So we'll be providing on the borders of a wheat field with tall crops such as maize, sorghum, and millets. The purpose of growing these tall crops is that it protects the field from the aphids invading from outside, because the crops such as maize, sorghum, and millets are not host for aphids. So if we are planting non-host crops such as maize, sorghum, and millets in the border of the wheat field, the aphids won't be able to reach the main crop, that is wheat, because the odor emanating from the non-host crop such as maize, sorghum, and millets confuse the aphids. So it won't be able to perceive the odor emanating from the main crop, that is wheat, effectively. So that is one thing. So we have to plant tall border crops such as maize, sorghum, and millets, which are not host for the aphids such as Microcyphum miscanthi. Then next one is to go for spray of insecticides such as quinalphos, that is Ecalex, at the rate of 400 ml in 200 liters per acre. Or we can go for thiamethoxam. The trade name is Actor, at the rate of 20 gram in 200 liters per acre. Then one thing we can do is go for spot application, because aphid infestation occurs mainly in the border areas first. So if you observe aphid infestation in the border areas first, treat that area alone. Don't go for the entire spray of the entire field. So we can go for spot application. So the management of termite include giving a border of tall crops such as maize, sorghum, and millet. Go for insecticides sprays such as quinalphos and thiamethoxam, and try to spray in the initial stage in the border areas where aphid infestation will start. So that is with respect to wheat aphid. Then coming to the next one, that is armyworm Methymna separator. The early stage larvae of, that is the neonate on the early stage larvae of Methymna separator feed on the tender leaves in the central world. And once the larvae matures, it starts feeding on the older whorls. And in the early stages, it skeletonizes the leaf, but once the larvae reaches the later stages, or once the larvae matures, it starts feeding the entire leaf including the midrib, and the field looks as if grazed by the cattle. This, you may be remembering this tape is term grazing by cattle. Looks, the field looks as if grazed by the cattle. This we have discussed in the case of rice armyworm. In the same manner, when the larvae is grows up, it starts feeding on the entire leaf, and the field looks as if grazed by the cattle, and it throws off large fecal pellets. And the larvae, once the one area is completely fed, the larvae moves from one field to another. So the larvae, the migration will be there, and it feeds on the ears too. That means it feeds on ear heads, not only the leaves. So coming to the, I will describe, explain it again. Early stage larvae feeds on younger leaves, that is tender leaves. Later it starts feed on mature leaf. It skeletonizes the leaf initially. Later on it feeds on the defoliates the plant completely, the entire midrib, and the larvae throws out fecal pellets, and because of the, as the entire field is defoliated, field look as if grazed by cattle. And once that one field is completely defoliated, it moves from one field to another, just like an army marching from one area to another. In addition to leaves, it feeds on ears also. So that is with respect to the nature of damage and symptoms of armyworm. This is the picture of armyworm in Thymna separator. Coming to the management, we can collect and destroy the larvae because these are large larvae. And another thing is we can install bird perches. This we have discussed in the case of rice armyworm also. Coming to the next one, that is Gujia weevil or time maker syndicus. It is a sporadic pest. It's not a pest which occurs regularly in wheat fields. The damage is done by adult weevil, not by the grubs and all. The damaging stage is adult weevils. And it is a pest which attack the crop in the seedling stage. The weevils cut the germinating seedlings. That's the nature of damage. And the management we can suggest is dusting with marathon at the rate of 25 kg per hectare. It's not a major pest, it's a minor pest infesting wheat. So this is the picture of Gujia weevil which cuts the germinating seedlings of wheat. The next one is gram pot borer Helicopa armigera. It is one of the most serious polyphagous pests of our country. It feeds on several crops from cotton to vegetables. The early installed larvae feeds on the leaves, and once the larvae grows up, it starts feeding on the reproductive part. It starts feeding on the fruiting body. Say if you take the example of tomato, it starts feeding on tomato. If it is on bindi, it starts feeding on the fruits. In the case of cotton, it starts feeding on the balls. And its feeding behavior is also typical. It feeds by inserting its head into the fruit. Here it's the in wheat it thrusts its head into the grain while the body will be remaining outside the grain. And because of the feeding of the grain by the larvae, the grain will turn hollow. That is the typical feature of gram pot borer. You will see several typical features of it when we discuss about it in the case of cotton and all. So the nature of damage is typical in the case of Helicopa armigera. In almost all the crops, the nature of damage is similar. The larvae thrust its head into the fruit. Here it's the case of grains. Feeds with the head inside the grain. The grain will turn hollow, and the body of the larvae will be remaining outside. So this is the picture of Helicopa in a wheat panicle, but I will show you a better picture when we discuss sorghum. Coming to the management, we can go for intercropping with non-host crops. Whenever we are going for intercropping as a pest management strategy, ensure that the intercrop is not favored by the pest. If the intercrop is also favored by the pest population will increase. So go for intercrops such as cowpea, onion and maize, which are not preferred hosts for Helicopa armigera. Just like in armyworm, we can install bird perches, or we can go for spraying of quinalphos at the rate of 400 ml in 200 liters of water for an acre. This is what we have recommended in the case of aphids also. Next, we will see termites. As I told you, termites can be considered as the major pest infesting wheat, and this pest attacks the crop in the early stage as well as in the late stage, immediately after sowing and sometimes near the maturity. And these termites feed on the roots, stem and dead tissues. The feeding of these termites on the roots, stems and dead tissues leads to the drying up of the plant completely, and the plant can be easily pulled out because the roots will be completely fed by the termites. The plant starts drying up and it can be easily pulled out. If the plant is in the if the crop is in the maturity phase or the reproductive phase, it starts giving out white ears just like a stem borer. And if the crop, if the field is dry, if there is a drought condition prevailing, or if the farmer is unable to irrigate the crop, or if the farmer has gone for application of undecomposed organic manure, it will favor the multiplication of termites. So dry condition, undecomposed organic manure favors the multiplication of termite. It attacks the crop immediately after sowing or late during the maturity phase. The termites feed on the roots, stems and dead tissues. Because of the feeding, the plants start drying up and can be easily pulled out. In the reproductive stage, the plant will give out white tears. Coming to the management, as the termites are soil dwelling insects, the management can be done by plowing the field. And you might have seen the termitaria. Termitaria in the field. If we, termite area is there, destroy the termite area so that we can destroy the population of termites. Then use only well rotten organic manure, because the undecomposed organic manure favors the multiplication of this pest. Then avoid late sowing of crop, because wheat, once if we are going for late sowing of wheat, the chances of water scarcity is extremely high, because once the wheat is planted late, the crop matures in April May. If it matures in April May, then the chances of drought is extremely high, so the crop becomes susceptible to termite infestation. So avoid late sowing of the crop. Then use neem cake at the rate of 80 kg per acre, or we can go for seed treatment with insecticides such as thiamethoxam or chlorpyrifos. Thiamethoxam FS, that is the formulation for seed treatment, can be used at the rate of 1.32 kg per 40 kg of seeds, or we can treat the seeds with chlorpyrifos at the rate of 3 to 4 ml per kg of seed. This chlorpyrifos, the same insecticide, can be used for soil drenching at the rate of 0.8 to 1.2 liter per acre. So that is with respect to insecticide. I will repeat the management again. We can go for destruction of the termite area. We can plow the field to destroy the termite colonies. You should apply only well rotten organic manure. Avoid late sowing of the crop so that the crop won't be affected by drought. Go for broadcasting of neem cake at the rate of 80 kg per acre. We can treat the seeds with thiamethoxam or chlorpyrifos, or we can drench the soil with chlorpyrifos. So this is a picture showing how the wheat fields are affected. See, the field is entirely dry and the plant has lots. This is in the reproductive phase. You can see the panicles. The entire root system will be fed by the termites, and the plant won't be able to remain in the field. It lodges. Coming to the next pest, shoot fly, Atherigona naqui. This Atherigona naqui maggots, the maggots emerging from the hatching out from the eggs, cuts the growing point of the young plant. Once the growing point is damaged by the maggot, the growing point starts decaying, and the maggot starts feeding on this decaying terminal bud. And as this terminal bud is damaged, the central shoot dries up and leads to the formation of dead heart. It not only feeds on the main shoot, it feeds on the tillers also. So these shoot flies are normally attacking the crop when the crop is about up to about 1 month old. After the crop matures, usually we don't see shoot fly infestation. So the maggots feeds on the growing point of young plants. Remember, it's a pest which attacks the crop up to about 1 month of age. It affects germination, and the growing point starts decaying, and the maggot starts feeding on this decayed plant material. And as this growing point is damaged, the central shoot dries up and leads to the formation of dead heart. It starts damaging tillers also, not only the main shoot. Coming to the next pest, that is wheat thrips, Anaphothrips sudanensis. It is a minor pest but slowly emerging as one of the major pests of wheat. Here the nymphs feed on the lemme. You might have studied about the floral biology of wheat, lemma, palea, etc. So the nymphs feed on the lemme, and the thrips penetrates into the flower and feeds from inside the flowers, and because of its feeding, the flowers become sterile. If the grain has matured, if the grain has ripened, it starts feeding on the pericarp. So wheat thrips, it feeds on the lemme. Once the grain matures, it feeds on the pericarp. Once it enters the flowers, it makes the flowers sterile. So this is with respect to wheat thrips. We are completing the insect pests attacking wheat. We'll move on to the next crop, that is sorghum. Compared to sorghum, the number of pests infesting the crop is high, and we have several pests. The first one is shoot fly. You might be remembering Atrigona naqui, which is damaging wheat. Here we have in sorghum Atrigona subquata. The family is the same, Musidae. Next is Tempora Chylopodilus, belonging to the family Pyralidae. The next one is midge, Stenodiplosis sogicola. As it is a midge, the family is Cecidomidae. Next is a soil insect, that is white grub Holotrichia consanguinea, belonging to the family Scarabidae. Then we have earhead bug Calocoris augustatus miridae, whose damage is almost similar to the rice bug which you have studied. Then we have sorghum shoot bug Peregrinus maedis, belong to the family Delphacidae, the family of rice BPH. We have pink stempora Sesamia inferens, belong to the family Noctuidae. And we have caterpillars which feeds on the panicles, which feeds on the ears. We have webworm Cryptoblaps nidiella. We have Semilupa Andoba silicula and the gram port borer Helicopa amigera. Helicopa and Andoba belong to family Noctuidae and Cryptoblaps belong to the family Pyralidae. We have several minor pests damaging sorghum: red hairy caterpillar, Amsacta albistryga, black hairy caterpillar, Estigmin lactinae, both belongs to the family Erybidae. Then we have cutworm, Mitina separata, which we have studied in wheat also. We have grasshoppers, Hieroglyphus benian and Hieroglyphus nigroreflectus, belong to family Acrididae. Ash weevil, Milocirrus, belong to family Curculionidae. Then aphids, the same kind of aphids which we have studied in wheat, Raflocyphum and Melanaphis. Termites, Odontotermus and Microtermus. We won't discuss about minor pests, we will discuss only about the major pests in detail. So the first major pest in sorghum is sorghum shoot fly Atrigona soccata. These flies lay white cigar shaped means cylindrical eggs on the under surface of the leaves. You can see the picture of this egg over here. This is a white cigar shaped or cylindrical egg on the laid on the under surface of the leaf. The maggots upon hatching from the egg migrate to the upper surface of the leaf. It moves into the leaf sheath and makes a clean cut at the base of the leaf sheath and enters into the stem. So once the egg hatches, maggots move into the leaf sheath, bore into the stem, and it starts feeding on the growing part. Once the growing part is fed by the maggot, the growing part dies, starts decaying, that we discussed in the case of wheat also, and the maggot starts feeding on this decaying terminal portion. And once the maggot matures, it pupates either in the plant or soil. Because of the feeding of this pest on the growing part, it leads to the formation of dead heart because the growing tip is damaged by the maggot. As we discussed in the case of wheat itself, this is a pest which attacks the crop in the first month after sowing. So it's a seedling pest and it attacks the main stem along with the tillers. Sometimes the damage is also observed during the boot leaf stage or in the flowering stage. If the damage is in the flowering stage, we can see the terminal portion of the panicle. The grains at the terminal portion of the panicles as chaffy. I will show a picture of it. So it's a pest which eggs is cylindrical white in color on the laid on the undersurface of the leaves. Maggots move into the stem, feeds on the growing terminal parts. Terminal growing point decays. Maggots feeds on it, and because of the terminal portion is damaged, it leads to the formation of dead heart. It's a pest which attacks seedlings and it also attacks the side tillers. So this is there, you can see the dead heart over here, you can see a dried up central shoot. See the panicle, the terminal portion of the panicle, the entire grains have turned chaffy. Coming to the management of sorghum shoot fly is a major pest in sorghum growing tracts. So we have a well evolved IPM package for sorghum shoot fly. The first and foremost thing is avoid late sowing of the crop. If we have to sow sorghum, we should go for planting of sorghum within 7 to 10 days of the monsoon showers, after receiving the monsoon showers. If we delay the sowing of the crop, chances of shoot fly incidence is extremely high. As it is a seedling pest, if the crop is damaged during the early stages, crop stand will be affected, the plant population will be affected. So we have to go for high seed rate of 10 to 12 kg per hectare. We can go for intercropping with sorghum and red gram in the ratio of 1 is to 1 or 2 is to 1, because red gram is not a host crop of sorghum shoot fly. Then we can go for resistant varieties such as CSH7 and 8. Then seed treatment with imidacloprid at the rate of 14 ml per kg seed or thiamethoxam at the rate of 3 gram per kg seed. This is a seedling pest, so seed treatment is an effective strategy for managing this pest. Imidacloprid and thiamethoxam are the insecticides recommended for managing this. In the early stage, if you are observing any seedling with dead heart, remove those dead plants showing this symptom and destroy it. We can go for setting up of traps, a special kind of trap called as fish meal trap at the rate of 4 per acre, which attracts the shoot fly adults, and we can keep these traps for up to 30 days. Instead, we can go for foliar spray of insecticides such as quinalphos at the rate of 3 ml per liter or cypermethrin at the rate of 1 ml per liter. So, in the management of sorghum shoot fly, go for early sowing. That means sow within 7 to 10 days after receipt of monsoon. Then go for higher seed rate at the rate of 10 to 12 kg per hectare, because that will prevent any reduction in plant population due to infestation of shoot fly. Intercrop with red gram, we can go for resistant varieties such as CH7 and 8. We can go for seed treatment with imidacloprid or thiamethoxam. Any damaged plant should be collected and destroyed. We can keep traps, fish meal traps at the rate of 4 traps per acre till 30 days, or we can go for spraying with quinalphos or cypermethrin. The next pest is stem borer. We have two stem borers, sorghum stem borer, that is Chylopatulus, and Sesame inferens, that is pink borer. This is in contrast to shoot fly, which attacks the crop within 1 month after planting. Stem borer is a pest which attacks the crop 1 month after planting. Once the shoot fly population decreases, slowly the stem borer population increases. Both the pests have the same symptom, that is dead heart. If you are observing a dead heart symptom in the early stages of the crop, it will be due to shoot fly. If you are observing a dead heart symptom in the late stage, after 1 month of planting, it will be due to stem borer infestation. And the eggs of this insect is laid on the undersurface of the leaf. The newly emerged or the neonate larvae mines the midrib. I will show you a picture of mining of midrib by this neonates. You can see the midrib. The color is changed to white. This is the mining of midrib by this neonate larvae. Another typical feature is, see over here, the larvae feeds the scrapes the upper surface of the leaf, leaving only the lower epidermis intact, and we can see transparent windows. You can see it over here, because the upper surface of the leaves will be fed by the larvae and leaving only the lower epidermis, and we can see transparent windows. That is a typical feature of stem borer infestation. That is the symptom, and once the larvae reaches the second instar, it migrates to the neighboring plants also. So as we have discussed, it feeds on the upper surface, leaving the lower surface intact, and we can see transparent windows. As with any stem borer, it leads to the formation of dead heart and extensive stem tunneling, because the larvae feeds inside the stem, tunnels inside the stem. Extensive stem tunneling leads to breakage of the stem. So this is with respect to the symptoms, that is midrib, tunneling the midrib, the transparent windows on the leaves. This is the picture of the larvae feeding on the stem. This is a dead heart symptom. You can see on the stem, you can see the bore exit hole constructed by the larvae before going for pupation, so that the adult can emerge. This is the dead heart. The short holes, that is because of the feeding of the larvae, you can see short holes on the leaf. See, these are called as short holes. We will discuss about it when we about short course and or when we discuss maize and all. So the symptoms are transparent windows and dead heart, but this dead heart appears after 1 month of planting. Coming to the management of shoot borer, once the crop is over, uproot and destroy the stubble so that any carryover of the pest can be destroyed. Any dead heart in the field should be collected and destroyed. We can go for release of trichogramma chiloides at the rate of 30,000 per acre per week. With respect to insecticides, we can go for whorl application. That means application of granular pesticides such as cartap or quinalphos in the leaf whorls. Cartap is recommended at the rate of 5 kg per hectare within 25 to 30 days after sowing. And if we get to go for a second application at the rate of 10 kg per hectare after 10 days, 10 to 15 days of the first application. And another insecticide, quinalphos, a granular formulation of quinalphos can also be used, that is recommended at the rate of 15 kg per hectare. So the first strategy should be to collect and destroy the stubbles, collect and destroy any plants with dead heart, release trichogramma, whorl application of granular pesticides such as cartap and quinalphos. Cartap we have to go for 2 application, one 25 to 30 days after sowing, and the second application should be timed 10 to 15 days after the first application. Coming to the next pest, that is midge Stenodiplosis sorgicola. The adult midge is having bright orange abdomen. Here you can see the midge insect which is having a bright orange abdomen. These are extremely small insect. The adult fly inserts its eggs singly into the developing flowers. You might have studied about the opening of flowers of cereals for pollination. So this midges inserts the eggs when the florets open for pollen shedding, for pollination. So once the eggs are laid into the developing florets, maggots develops inside this grains, and it pupates within the glooms. And once the adult emerges out from the pupae, it leaves its pupal case at the tip of the spikelet. We can see it, the picture of it. You can see it over here, the pupal case attached to the tip of the spikelet. In this one also you can see the pupal case attached to the tip of the spikelet. This is a typical feature of sorghum mid Stenodiplosis sorgicola damage. So the eggs are laid into the developing florets when the flowers open for pollen shedding. The eggs hatches, the maggot feeds on the ovaries. As the ovaries are fed, the grain formation will be affected. As the grains are not formed, it will be chaffy. So the entire symptom will look like chaffy panicles, but the nature of damage is maggot feeds on the developing ovaries and prevent the formation of grains. Coming to the management aspect, synchronous planting of this sorghum with uniform maturing varieties is one such strategy to prevent the infestation of sorghum midge. This we have discussed in the case of rice bug and BPH. Synchronous planting with uniform maturing varieties. Why we should go for this strategy we have discussed in detail in the case of rice, because there won't be any staggered infestation, there won't be any carryover of pests from one field to the another, because if the crops are at the uniform stage, the crop will escape the infestation. And once the crop is harvested, we should collect and burn all the damaged and aborted seeds, because these damaged and aborted seeds will be harboring the maggots and pupae of this sorghum midge. And when the crop is at the stage of 50% flowering, we can go for spraying of cypermethrin at the rate of 0.5 ml per liter, dimethoate at the rate of 1.6 ml per liter, or malathion at the rate of 2 ml per liter. So the management includes synchronous planting, collection and destruction of damaged grains, and spraying with cypermethrin, dimethoate, or malathion. This is a picture of healthy grain as well as sorghum midge affected grain. See, this one is a healthy grain which is completely filled with healthy panicle with completely filled grains. Here you can see the entire grains are chaffy, become chaffy because of the feeding of sorghum midge. Next one is sorghum shoot bug, Peregrinus maedis. This is belongs to a family Delphacidae. It's a sporadic pest, it's not a serious pest. It lays eggs into the leaf tissue and this eggs will be covered with white waxy substance. This bug feeds within the leaf sheath and the leaf whorls. It hides within the leaf sheath and it remains within the leaf whorl and feeds. The nymphs and adults suck sap by remaining within the leaf sheath and leaf whorls, and because of the sucking of the plant sap, it reduces the plant vigor, leading to yellowing. So the nymphs and adults remains within the leaf sheath, remains within the central whorls, leaf whorls, sucks sap, leading to the yellowing of the leaves and reduces the plant vigor. In the vegetative stage, if the infestation of the sorghum shoot bug is extremely severe, it leads to the twisting of the top leaves. The twisting of the top leaves prevent the emergence of panicles. And another important feature with respect to this pest is it is a vector of viral disease called stripe disease of maize. And the management is we can go for spraying with dimethoate or rogue at the rate of 1.6 ml per liter. I will describe it again. Eggs are laid into the leaf tissue covered with white waxy substance. The insects, the nymphs as well as the adults remain within the leaf sheath or in the leaf folds, suck sap from the plant. Plants start yellowing, reduces the plant vigor, and because of if there is heavy infestation during the vegetative stage, the top leaves will get twisted and leads to the and prevents the formation of panicles. This is the bug Peregrinus maedis. See the wedge-shaped insect belong to family Delphacidae. The nymphs which suck sap from the plant. The next one is earhead bug Calocoris agastatus belong to the family Meridae. The nature of damage and all symptoms and all are similar to rice bug. The bugs are green in color. It lays blue cigar-shaped or cylindrical eggs under the glooms in the developing flowers or into the middle of the florets. That means the bugs lay eggs in the panicle itself. Once the egg hatches, the nymphs and adults suck sap from the grains when the grains are at the milky stage, just like rice bug. Nymphs and adults suck sap from the grains at the milky stage, and because of this feeding of the grain at the milky stage, the grains will turn chaffy, the infested grains start shrinking and turn black. So the grains will turn chaffy, that is a typical feature. The grains will shrink and turn black. This is the picture of uh, sorghum earhead bug Calocoris agastatus. The next pest is head caterpillars. We have few caterpillars which feeds on the panicle. The first one is Cryptoblaps nidiella. The second one is Helicopa amidra, and the third one is Endobasilicula. Cryptoblaps nidiella and Endobasilicula webs together the grains and feeds the grains. So this webs the grains and feeds on the grains. And in case of Endobasilicula, we can see broken grains in the earhead. In the case of Helicopa amigera, the larvae hides within the earheads and feeds on the grain. The earheads will be partially eaten by the caterpillar and the grains appear chalky. And Helicopa amigera, these are large larvae and we can see fecal pellets on the earheads. So these are the caterpillar which feeds on the earheads or panicles. See, I told you we can see a clear picture in sorghum of Helicopa amigera larvae. You can see a extremely good picture of Helicopa amigera feeding on the grains of sorghum. Next one is white grub or Holotrichia consanguinea. We will discuss about white grub several times in this course because this is a polyphagous pest. This is a soil subterranean pest or soil dwelling pest. It is also called as Mayjun beetle because the adult emerges immediately after the receipt of monsoon showers. It is a pest having annual life cycle. With the monsoon showers, adult emerges. It mates, lays eggs into the soil. The grubs remain in the soil, pupates inside the soil, completes its life cycle within 1 year, and the adult emerges in the next coming monsoon. The grubs are the damaging stage. Grubs are C-shaped in nature, scarabiform larvae, feeds on the roots, and as the roots are completely damaged by the grubs, plants start wilting in patches. As the if the plant doesn't wilt, even then the plants remain stunted because as the roots are damaged, plant won't get enough nutrition. So the plant may be stunted. In severe cases, there will be wilting of the plant. So this is the C-shaped grubs of root grub which we can see in the soil. This pest is extremely common in Padnakad campus. The sand soil is sandy and we have severe infestation of this root grub. These are the adults of root grub. You might have observed these adults in the light. It is heavily attracted to light. So especially after the receipt of first monsoon showers. Coming to the next pest, that next crop, that is maize, and maize is the third most important crop in our country after rice and wheat. This is called as queen of cereals because it is having very high genetic potential. The productivity is extremely high compared to other cereals with respect to maize. The major pests are fall armyworms, Podoptera frugipata belong to the family Noctuidae. Then we have sorghum, just like sorghum stembora, we have Chylopatulus. Again, stembor in maize, pink stembora, sesame inferens, shoot fly, Atrigona orientalis. The species different in the case of maize. We have bollworm or gram potbora helicopa armigera. Then we have chafer beetle, Chiloloba acuta, belong to the family Scarabidae in case of maize. In maize, the major pest, a recently introduced pest is polar armyworms, Podoptera frugipata, belong to a family Noctuidae. It was a pest common in American continent, but in 2016 it was introduced to Africa. It caused havoc created havoc in Africa, destroying almost all the maize crop. In India, it was introduced in 2008. It was extremely severe in several maize growing tracts of our country. It has very broad host range. It has the ability to attack about 100 crops, including rice, wheat, and sugarcane. But in India, we have seen heavy damage only in sugarcane. We haven't seen much damage in rice and wheat. And immediately after hatching out from the egg, the young larvae scrapes the leaf and leaving a transparent membrane that we have discussed in the case of Stembor, Chylopatulus. It scrapes the leaves, young larvae scrapes the leaf and leaving only a transparent membrane. You can see it over here. It scrapes the leaf, leaving a transparent windows on the leaf, and the larvae then moves into the central wall and feeds between the leaf. So we can see the central wall damage. You can see it over here. The next picture is extremely clear. The central wall larvae will be remaining within the central wall and feeds on the fresh leaf. So we can see feeding damage on the freshly emerged leaf. That is typical of Spodoptera frugiperda. It also feeds on the tassels. You might know what is tassel and cob in the case of maize. It feeds on the tassel, and the fecal matter of this larvae can be seen in the inside the word. In case of older larvae, it feeds on the developing bud and leads to the formation of dead heart. So it's a newly introduced pest. You can expect a question because it's a new pest. It's a serious in our country. It scrapes the leaf, leaves a transparent membrane. The larvae enters the wall and feeds the young leaf, and we can see the leaves damaged by the feeding of the larvae. Fecal matter will be accumulated in the walls. The older larvae can cause dead heart because of the feeding of the developing buds. So this is the picture of the larvae of follow amoebas, Podoptera frugipata. This is another picture. This is where you can see the larvae feeding on the tassel. Next is the chafer beetle, Chiloloba acuta. Chiloloba acuta is a particular kind of pest which feeds on the pollen grains. The beetles feed on the pollen grains, and as the pollen grains are fed by the beetles, it affects pollination. It's a minor pest. Next is ragi. We have only a few pests. We will discuss it quickly. The first one is pink borer sesame inference. We were discussing it in the earlier crops as well. There is white borer siluria invisita, which is a pest specific to ragi, plant of family Pyralidae. Then we have cutworms, Spodoptera exigua. We have black hairy caterpillar, Amsactalacne, belong to family Erybidae. We have Chitocnema pisciens, belong to the family Chrysomelidae. The common name is flea beetle. The last one is an aphid pest infesting the roots of the ragi crop, that is Tetranura nigri abdominalis, where the common name is root aphid. We'll go to it one by one. Pink borer, as we discussed in the case of Chylopatulus itself, we can see the midrib tunnel by the young larvae. We can see windows on transparent windows. It scrapes the upper surface. There will be transparent windows. We can see short holes on the leaf. Dead heart and white ear symptoms are another typical features of pink borer. White borer, as I told you, it's a specific pest of ragi. Cutworm, it defoliates the plant in the nursery. It's a nocturnal pest. It pupates in the soil. And then black hairy caterpillar, Amsactalacnea. Again, it's a hairy caterpillar which defoliates the plant. The last one is Chitocnema pusaensis. It's flea beetle. The adults bite holes in the leaf. That's the typical feature. We can see short holes on the leaf. So this is with respect to cereals, wheat, maize, sorghum, and ragi. Almost all the pests are the one and the same, except a few pests, and we have a quite number of pests in the case of sorghum. Other crops, the number of pests are extremely small. So, thank you very much.